Welcome to Small Monkey and Big Monkeys, where true corporate stories become timeless lessons in leadership, decision-making, workplace wisdom, and a little laughter from the corporate jungle. If you enjoy authentic corporate stories with practical life lessons, please like, share, subscribe, and join the troop. Rising after a fall feels glorious. Thank you, God. Vinod Sawant was chatting with the security guards inside the factory gates of a bulk drug production plant near Pune when he saw a shift supervisor, the plant manager, and the VP HR approaching the gate. They were intensely discussing something as they neared the gate. They were discussing about the hazards of losartan fine powder getting airborne due to negligent handling. Losartan is a drug that lowers blood pressure. If the workers and officers inhale the invisible fine particles in the air, fainting, or a cardiac emergency is a serious possibility. The safety measures and the standard operating procedures had been ignored, especially in the night shift. Strict disciplinary measures were to be initiated as per the company policy. The VP HR had arrived from Mumbai for this purpose due to the very tricky situation at the local level. Vinod had worked for 5 years as a shift supervisor at a nearby pharma MNC's factory. He and 3 others were terminated from their jobs after being framed for an act of vandalism by some disgruntled union members. A criminal case had been filed by the MNC, mainly for the purpose of claiming the insurance. Vinod had agreed to voluntarily resign, with the understanding that the MNC would not pursue criminal litigation against him. It was a severe blow to Vinod and his family. Vinod was a father of 2 kids. One was a bright 5-year-old son and a cute daughter aged 3 years. Vinod's wife was educated, but had quit her job when she was pregnant with her 2nd child. Vinod's savings were at a dangerously low level after 3 months of job hunting, and he was compelled to take up the lowest paid job of watchman under a labor contractor. The pay was just enough for survival, but would not suffice for educating his 2 lovely and lively kids. Little did he know that his misery was about to end. The VP was talking to the shift supervisor and the plant manager. There had been a serious lapse during the night shift. At final stage of pulverizing the granules into a fine powder, there was a leak that was resulting in a steady stream of fine powder getting airborne. The VP had arrived around midnight and was on an inspection round when noticed the lapse. The daily wage laborers were not wearing the mask properly. The masks were slid down and not covering their nose. The leak had not been rectified for 2 days, and the shift supervisor had not even reported the leak. The plant manager had gone home after office hours. Vinod moved a few steps closer and was listening intently, and he was in the peripheral vision range of the VP. Vinod seemed to be understanding the discussion and was nodding in agreement. The VP was an expert in reading body language and smilingly asked, "Do you understand the protocols?" and asked him to come closer. Vinod nodded affirmatively and said, "I used work as a chemist in QA." The VP was pleasantly surprised and suddenly said, "Meet me tomorrow at 10 a.m. Vinod had a surge of hope because this VP appeared to be a monk, even though he was known to be firm about complying with all the rules and regulations. The plant manager had earlier expressed the difficulties in getting talented people to a remote industrial area, where the nearest moderately decent housing was about 7 kilometers away. Actually, the company needed to recruit for about 5 vacancies. Attrition of talented people was a major concern because almost everyone preferred Pune, about 110 kilometers away. The next morning, Vinod was interviewed by the VP and the plant manager. Before the interview, The VP had discreetly inquired through his sources about the incident, resulting in termination of 4 employees from the nearby MNC Pharma factory. The technical part of the interview went off satisfactorily. The VP then said that every talented person deserves a second chance. However, he should not repeat the mistakes of the past. The VP said difficulties, falls, and mishaps often teach us important lessons. What matters is how we recover and resume our journey of life. Sometimes we may need a nudge from a monk or a mentor. About 30 minutes later, Vinod received his letter of appointment as a shift supervisor. Vinod profusely thanked the VP and the management for giving him a second chance and a new lease of life. He was assigned to the Losartan section, and his first task was to ensure that Losartan doesn't get airborne and ensure that all the safety protocols were strictly adhered to. This episode was immensely liked by the staff and union people. The relations between the management and the employees became more cordial. The greatest glory is in recovering and rising after every fall. Big monk wisdom: the jungle never disappeared, it merely learned to wear a suit. If you like this story, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. To receive notifications, click on the bell icon. If you wish to share your story, please send an email to prsmonks@outlook.com or 11decibels@gmail.com. If this story reminded you of someone from your own workplace jungle, share this episode with them. See you next week on Small Monkey and Big Monkeys.